The bullet shattered the champagne glass in Mara's hand. She didn't scream. She couldn't. Everything moved in slow motion as Ji-hoon's body slammed into hers, dragging her to the marble floor. His weight crushed the air from her lungs. More gunshots followed. Screaming. Glass exploding everywhere. "Stay down," he ordered, his accent thick, commanding. This wasn't how she imagined her life would end. 3 days earlier, she'd been in Lagos, celebrating her acceptance into medical school. Now she lay on a ballroom floor in Seoul, married to a man she didn't know, dodging bullets from people who wanted her dead. If you want to know how an 18-year-old Nigerian girl ended up as a Korean mafia boss's wife, make sure you hit that subscribe button because this story has more twists than you can imagine. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Let me take you back to where it all started. 3 days earlier in Lagos, her father's voice had boomed through the house, calling her downstairs. Mara rushed down with excitement pounding in her chest. Her acceptance letter had arrived the week before, and her father had been acting strange ever since. The living room was full. Her father and her older brother, David, stood at the center with unreadable expressions. Her father announced a surprise, a full medical scholarship in Seoul, South Korea. Mara was stunned. She'd already been accepted in Lagos, but he cut her off, insisting this was better. David would go with her to help her settle. She should have questioned everything, but she was young and hopeful. She hugged her worn brown teddy bear, her last gift from her mother, and whispered that her mother would be proud. Her father's face crumpled at the mention. Seoul was cold, efficient, and overwhelming. David guided her through the airport and mentioned a welcome dinner arranged by the scholarship providers. He took her to an expensive hotel, where a woman handed her a deep red and gold hanbok. It all felt too formal, too strange, but David told her to trust him. The venue was a traditional Korean house glowing with lanterns. Inside, important-looking guests filled the room. At the center stood a tall, sharply featured man in his 50s, with scars on his hands and eyes that saw too much. When she asked who he was, David quietly replied, "Your groom." Her blood froze. The ceremony began before she could process the words. She tried to step back, to run, but her father appeared and gripped her arm. In Yoruba, she demanded answers. Her father whispered that he had no choice, that forgiveness was necessary, that Chun left no room for choices. The name struck a memory, her father's nightmares, his whispered fears, but he had never explained. Mara stood there, frozen, as a stranger named Ji-hoon became her husband. He didn't smile, or even look at her. When it was over, her father and brother were gone. Ji-hoon finally addressed her with careful, precise English. He told her she had no choice, that he was keeping her alive, that her mother hadn't died of illness. She had been murdered. And the man who killed her was coming for Mara next unless she stayed under his protection. The mansion he took her to was enormous, filled with marble, crystal, and priceless art, but barred windows, locked doors, and armed guards made it a beautiful cage. Her room was luxurious but lonely. She clutched her teddy bear and cried, replaying her mother's last words. "Protected always. One day you'll understand why." She tried to call her family. Every attempt failed. She screamed until her voice gave out. No one came. Eventually, Ji-hoon knocked, bringing food. She refused. She demanded to go home. He calmly told her this was her home now, a cage that kept her alive. He explained that her mother had worked for a dangerous man named Chun, had stolen something that could destroy him, and had been hunted ever since. Chun believed Mara now possessed what her mother had stolen. Ji-hoon admitted he didn't know what that something was, but Chun was certain Mara had it. And that certainty would kill her unless she stayed under protection. He told her that Chun didn't do half measures, that her entire family was at risk, and that her father had begged him for help in exchange for Mara. He revealed his own reason. Chun had killed his wife and unborn child 15 years earlier. He intended to stop Chun from destroying another family. Days passed. Mara refused to leave her room, and Ji-hoon didn't force her. Food arrived regularly, along with clothes and books, but no phone, no internet, no sense of freedom. On the third day, Ji-hoon knocked again and informed her they were attending a charity gala. She refused. He told her it wasn't a choice. The world needed to see her under his protection, or Chen's people would strike. If she claimed she'd been kidnapped, she'd be dead before she left the parking lot. He wasn't the enemy, he insisted. The sooner she understood that, the safer she would be. The dress they gave Mara was stunning, midnight blue silk that hugged every curve. She hated how beautiful it made her feel. How normal. Ji-hoon waited at the bottom of the stairs in a perfectly tailored tuxedo. For a moment, he looked like any other wealthy businessman, until she noticed the gun holster beneath his jacket. You look presentable, he said. You look like a criminal. I am a criminal. He offered his arm. But tonight, we're just a married couple attending a charity event. Smile. Look happy. Your life depends on it. The ballroom was massive, filled with Seoul's elite. Chandeliers sparkled overhead as a string quartet played. Waiters drifted between guests carrying champagne. Ji-hoon's hand rested firmly on her lower back, guiding her through the crowd. People bowed to him, respectful, fearful. She could see it in their eyes. Why do they look at you like that? She whispered. Because they know what I am, he replied. And they're smart enough to be afraid. A waiter offered champagne. Mara took a glass, needing something to occupy her trembling hands. Smile, Ji-hoon murmured. Chen's people are watching. How do you know? I always know. That was when she saw him. A man across the room, mid-40s, handsome in a dangerous way. He raised his glass toward Ji-hoon, smiling the smile of a predator. Is that? No. But he works for Chun. Ji-hoon's grip tightened around her waist. Stay close. The man approached with the same unsettling smile. Ji-hoon, what a beautiful bride. Nigerian, yes? How exotic. Touch her, and I'll kill you here. Ji-hoon said lightly, as if commenting on the weather. The man laughed. So protective. Chun wonders what she has that's worth starting a war over. Tell Chun she has my protection. That should be enough. Is it? The man's gaze slid to Mara. Chun is patient. But patience has limits. Her mother took something that belongs to him. He wants it back. Mara surprised herself with the steadiness of her voice. I don't have anything. Then you'll die for nothing. What a waste. He wandered off into the crowd. We're leaving, Ji-hoon said sharply. We just got here. Now, Mara. Before they could move, the lights went out. Screams erupted. In the darkness, she heard the pop-pop-pop of silenced gunfire. Ji-hoon shoved her down just as the champagne glass in her hand shattered. Chaos unfolded. Emergency lights kicked on, casting everything in red. Ji-hoon drew his gun with practiced ease. When I say run, you run for the exit. Don't look back. What about you? I'll be right behind you. His eyes met hers, determined, fierce. I promise to protect you. I keep my promises. Gunfire erupted closer, louder. Run. Now. Mara ran. Her heels slipped on the marble, so she kicked them off and sprinted barefoot. Behind her, Ji-hoon fired. Once, twice, 3 times. Bodies dropped. A man in black appeared ahead, gun raised. She froze. A shot blasted through the air. The man collapsed. Ji-hoon stood behind him, gun smoking. I said don't stop, he barked. They burst through the exit into the cold Seoul night. A black car screeched to a stop, door already open. Get in, a voice shouted. A young Korean man, handsome, intense, leaned from the driver's seat. They dove inside. The car sped away as bullets pinged off the windows. Everyone okay? The driver asked. Mara recognized him as Min-soo, Ji-hoon's right hand. We're fine, Ji-hoon replied. Mara, this is Min-soo. Hi, she gasped, shaking with adrenaline. Thanks for the rescue. Just doing my job. Min-soo grinned in the mirror. Welcome to the family. Sorry it's been so explosive. Mara started laughing, hysterical, uncontrollable. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Get used to it, Ji-hoon said, his tone unexpectedly gentle. This is your life now. Back at the mansion, Ji-hoon tried to head straight to his office, but Mara caught his arm. Wait. He turned, surprised. You saved my life tonight, she said quietly. Thank you. I told you. I keep my promises. Let me see, she insisted, pointing at his side where blood stained his shirt. You're hit. It's nothing. I'm a medical student. Sit down. For once, he obeyed. In his office, she carefully unbuttoned his shirt. The bullet had grazed his ribs. Painful, but manageable. She cleaned and bandaged the wound with steady hands. "You're good at this," he noted. "My mother taught me." Before, she stopped. Before Chin killed her. She looked up sharply. "Tell me everything. I need to know who I'm fighting." Ji-hoon studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Her mother, he explained, had once been Chen's right hand, an enforcer, brilliant and deadly. She'd fallen in love with Mara's father, a visiting doctor, and wanted to escape the organization. Escape meant death, so she stole a USB drive containing evidence that could destroy Chen's empire. She claimed she'd uploaded the information everywhere, forcing Chen to let her go. Years later, when Chen was sure she'd been bluffing, he killed her. But he never found the USB. He now believed Mara had it. "But I don't know anything about a USB," she cried. "I believe you," Ji-hoon said. "But Chen won't. He will destroy everyone you love to find it." Overwhelmed, Mara sank into a chair. "My mother, she was a criminal. She was a woman who wanted freedom. She risked everything for you. Did you know her?" Mara asked. "No. But her reputation was legendary. Fierce. Intelligent. Loyal." Ji-hoon's expression softened. "You're like her." "I'm nothing like her. I just wanted to be a doctor." "You survived an assassination attempt and calmly treated a gunshot wound. You're stronger than you think." For the first time since everything began, something inside Mara shifted. Not fear, fire. "Teach me," she said. "How to fight. How to protect myself." Ji-hoon smiled, truly smiled. "Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. I won't be late." As she stood to leave, he caught her hand. "What you did tonight, your mother would be proud." Tears stung her eyes. "Thank you." In her room, she clutched her teddy bear and finally cried, not from terror, but from grief. Grief for the mother she never truly knew. Grief for the life she had lost. But beneath the grief burned determination. She would survive. She would uncover the truth. And she would finish what her mother started. Chun had taken everything from her family. She would be the one to end him. 6 a.m. came far too early, but Mara was awake, dressed in workout clothes and ready. Min-soo met her in the basement training room. Punching bags hung from the ceiling, weapons lined the walls, an underground fortress built for survival. "So you're the girl who got the boss to smile," Min-soo teased with a grin. "That's impressive." He smiled, she asked, startled. "After you left his office last night. First time in years." He tossed her hand wraps. "Let's see what you've got." The first week nearly broke her. Her muscles ached in places she didn't know existed. Min-soo was patient, but merciless. "Again," he commanded as she pushed through another grueling set. "Chen's men won't go easy on you. Neither will I." But day by day, she grew stronger, faster, sharper. Ji-hoon would sometimes watch from the doorway, silent and unreadable. His presence pushed her further. She wanted to impress him, even if she refused to admit it. 2 weeks in, Min-soo finally deemed her ready for weapons. "Ever held a gun?" he asked. "Never." "Good. Clean slate." He placed a pistol in her hands and corrected her grip. "This is a tool, Mara. Respect it, or it'll kill you." She learned, not out of a desire for violence, but because survival demanded it. Late nights, she found Ji-hoon in his study, sifting through documents. Without a word, he poured her tea. Sometimes they sat in silence. Other nights they talked about anything except Chen. One evening, she finally asked, "Why did you become a criminal?" He finished, without offense. "My father was in this life. I inherited everything. By the time I wanted out, it was too late." "What did you want instead?" "A family. A quiet life." His eyes darkened with grief. "My wife was pregnant when Chin killed her. A son. We were going to name him Jae-sung." Her heart twisted. "I'm so sorry. Chin didn't just take my family. He took my future." His gaze lingered on her. "But somehow you're bringing some of that back." The air shifted, electric and dangerous. "Ji-hoon." "Don't," he interrupted, standing abruptly. "This situation is complicated enough." But the truth sat between them, undeniable. For weeks after the gala, everything changed. Mara was training with Min-soo when Ji-hoon burst in, face pale.
Mara, come with me. Now.
Fear settled like ice in her veins. In his office, he pulled up a video. Chun sent this 10 minutes ago. Her father appeared on screen, tied to a chair, beaten, bloody. Papa. Mara cried. Mara, his voice was hoarse and cracked. Tell them where the USB is. Please, baby girl. Tell them. A cold voice off camera spoke. You have 48 hours. The USB for your father's life. The footage ended with her father's screams. Mara collapsed into panic. We have to save him.
Now.
Mara. Please. She grabbed Ji-hoon's arm. Desperate and breaking. He's all I have left. Ji-hoon's voice softened. Think. What USB is he talking about? Where would your mother hide it? I don't know, she sobbed. I've told you everything. Maybe she hid it in something she gave you, Min-soo suggested.
A gift.
Something personal. Mara's mind raced. Then it hit her. The teddy bear, she whispered. My mother's last gift. They ran to her room. She grabbed the bear and found a newer seam along the back, a hidden zipper. Inside was a small USB drive, wrapped meticulously in plastic. Oh my God, she breathed. Ji-hoon handled it like it was explosive. Min-soo. Secure laptop.
Now.
Files exploded across the screen. Videos, records, transactions. 20 years of Chen's crimes. Then one file labeled, for Mara. Her mother appeared on screen. Alive. Younger. Eyes filled with regret. My darling Mara, if you're watching this, I'm gone. She explained everything. Her life with Chun, the crime she committed, meeting Mara's father, the desperate escape. I was not a good woman, she admitted, voice trembling. But your father showed me I could be better. This USB is your freedom. Use it to live the life I couldn't. The message ended with, protect your father. He is a good man who loved a bad woman. Mara sobbed uncontrollably. Ji-hoon rested a hand on her shoulder. She saved all this for you, he murmured. She gave you a chance. But my father...
He's bait, Ji-hoon said.
Chun wants the drive. We're not giving it to him. He turned to Min-soo. Copy everything. Multiple backups. Secure uploads. Mara stared at Ji-hoon. What are you planning? He met her gaze. Fierce and certain. We tell Chun we'll trade the USB for your father. Then we take him down. It'll be a trap, she whispered. For him too, Ji-hoon replied. Thanks to your mother, we finally have the upper hand. A surge of emotion overwhelmed her. Fear, hope, gratitude. She looked at Ji-hoon, and he looked back with the same intensity. Ji-hoon, she whispered. He pulled her in and kissed her. Fierce, desperate, consuming. She kissed him back, clutching his shirt. When they broke apart, breathless, he said, This is a bad idea. Probably the worst. I'm twice your age. I don't care. You're my wife in name only. Then make it real. He swallowed hard. If we do this, there's no going back. I don't want to go back. I'm choosing you. He kissed her again, soft, full of promise. After we end Chun, he said, I'll court you the right way. You deserve that. I deserve you, she whispered. And you deserve happiness. Min-soo cleared his throat. Hate to interrupt your drama, but we have a rescue to plan. They broke apart, smiling despite it all. That night they sent Chun a message. The exchange would happen tomorrow at the old warehouse district. Chun agreed too quickly. He's planning something, Min-soo warned. So are we, Ji-hoon said. Mara, you're staying here. No, she said firmly. He has my father. I'm coming. Ji-hoon hesitated, then nodded. You stay beside me at all times. If I say run, you run. Understood? Understood. Later, sleepless, Mara stood on the balcony overlooking Seoul's glowing skyline. Ji-hoon joined her quietly. Nervous, he asked. Terrified. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. He wrapped his arms around her from behind. For what it's worth, I'm terrified too. You? Never. I'm scared of losing you. I just got you. She turned in his arms, cupping his face. Then don't lose me. We survive this. Together. Together, he whispered. They held each other under the night sky. knowing tomorrow they would walk into hell.
But they would walk into it side by side.
The warehouse district was dead at night, its empty buildings looming like tombstones. Ji-hoon's convoy pulled up first, 3 cars, 12 armed men. He checked Mara's vest one more time, his hands steady despite the tension in his jaw. You stay behind me. Always. I know. I mean it, Mara. If shooting starts, I run to cover and stay down. You've told me 100 times. She grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. I'm going to be fine. We're both going to be fine. He kissed her hard. I love you. I should have said it before, but I love you. Her heart lifted despite everything. I love you too. Touching, Min-soo muttered as he passed. But we have a rescue to execute. Inside the massive warehouse, shipping containers cast long shadows. The place was perfect for an ambush. Chin stood in the center beneath a harsh spotlight, as if he were on stage. Mara's father was beside him, tied to a chair and barely conscious. And next to Chin, David. Mara's voice cracked. Her brother stood tall in black clothing, a gun at his hip, as though he belonged there. Hello, little sister, he said coldly. Confusion and betrayal slammed into her. What are you doing? What I should have done years ago. He stepped forward. Chun is my real father. My blood. I found him 2 years ago. The truth felt unreal. Mara shook her head, denying it, but David continued, speaking of adoption, resentment, and the belief that he'd been unwanted his whole life. It shattered her. We loved you, she cried. I was your sister. You were the real daughter, he spat. I was just the placeholder. Ji-hoon's grip tightened on her shoulder as he explained the bitter truth. David had been used to lure her to Korea. Her father's deal with Ji-hoon. Chen's meticulous plan. All of it had led to this moment. Chen raised his gun to her father's head. The USB, please. Or he dies. Mara demanded 1 minute with her father. Chen granted it. She knelt beside the man who had raised her. Up close, he looked nearly broken. Papa, she whispered. He apologized through pain. He explained the deal. Explained her mother's final act. How she had tried to protect Ji-hoon's family the night Chin murdered his wife. Explained why Chin had hunted them. Why he had gone to Ji-hoon for help. She documented everything, he rasped. Everything Chin ever did. Mara's heart twisted. I know, Papa. Time was up. She faced Chun with the USB in her hand. He demanded it. She threw it, watching it clatter at his feet. He bent to pick it up. Gunfire exploded from the shadows. Ji-hoon's men poured bullets into Chen's forces. Chen's men returned fire. David tackled their father out of danger, proving for the first time whose son he truly was. Ji-hoon dragged Mara behind cover. Tell me that wasn't the only copy. It's blank, she shouted. You uploaded everything already. He laughed. That's my girl. Chaos filled the warehouse. Smoke. Screams. Mara fired at an advancing man, hitting him in the shoulder. Min-soo shouted praise from across the room. Through the haze, Mara saw her father and David. David was untying him, not hurting him, begging him to run. Chun saw the betrayal and roared. Traitor. He aimed his gun at David. Mara moved before thought. She fired and struck Chun in the shoulder. Chun swung his weapon toward her. Ji-hoon shot twice, dropping him, but Chun was relentless. With his final strength, he lifted the gun again. Toward Mara. David saw it first. He sprinted. He slammed into her, wrapping her tightly in his arms. The gunshot cracked like lightning. David's body jerked. They fell together. Blood spread across his back as he lay on top of her. David, she screamed, lifting his weight with trembling arms. No, no, and oh. Ji-hoon checked the wound, but Mara saw the truth in his eyes. Her brother was dying. Her father crawled over and cupped David's face with shaking hands. My son. My beautiful boy. Papa, David gasped. I'm sorry. I didn't see it before. You were always my real father. Her father sobbed. We loved you from the moment we brought you home. David's failing eyes turned to Mara. Do you think Mama will forgive me? The question shattered her. She already has, Mara whispered. She's waiting for you. She loved you so much. Really, he breathed. I swear it. You were her blessing. David's breath grew shallow. His eyes focused on something far away. A small smile touched his lips. I see her, she's smiling at me. She's proud of you, Mara said through her tears. You chose love. You chose us. Mara, his arms tightened around her one last time. Love you, a little sister. Always did. I love you too. Always. David exhaled, soft and final. His arms fell limp. His eyes stared at nothing. He died in her arms, choosing her in the end. Mara screamed, raw, primal grief tearing through the silent warehouse. Her father held her as she sobbed. Jihoon walked to where Chen lay dying on the floor. This is for my wife, he said coldly, and my son, and everyone you destroyed. Chen spat a final curse before going still. The warehouse fell silent except for Mara's sobs. Min-soo approached quietly. Boss, police are coming. Mara held David for what felt like hours, though it had only been minutes. Her brother, her hero, was gone. Jihoon gently pulled her away. We need to go. The police are coming. I'm not leaving him, she cried. We're taking him with us, her father said firmly, his voice raw with grief. He comes home. Jihoon nodded to Min-soo, who carefully lifted David's body. Mara couldn't look away, couldn't accept that he was really gone. Her father held her tightly as they walked out of the warehouse. Behind them, Chen's body lay in a pool of blood, his empire destroyed, his legacy reduced to nothing but pain.
But the cost had been far too high.
Months later, the cemetery was quiet. Green grass, stone markers, a rare sense of peace. Mara stood before two graves, her mother's, which they had moved to Seoul, and David's new headstone. She placed flowers on both, whispering to her brother about how brave he had been, how he had chosen love in the end. The wind rustled gently around her, almost like an answer. Jihoon wrapped his arms around her. Her father joined them, limping slightly, scars still healing. He reminded them that their mother would be proud. Chen's entire operation was destroyed, victims freed, corruption exposed. It was the biggest organized crime bust in Asian history, but Mara felt no triumph, only exhaustion and gratitude to be alive. Jihoon led her to a garden overlooking Seoul, decorated with flowers blending Korean and Nigerian traditions. When she asked what it was, he smiled gently. A wedding. A real one. The one you deserved. Her father, dressed in traditional Nigerian attire, took her hand with teary eyes. Jihoon knelt and poured his heart into a proposal, one made out of love, not obligation. Mara said yes through tears and laughter. Their vows were intimate and raw. Mara promised to choose him every day, to build a life honoring those they had lost. Jihoon promised to protect her not because she needed it, but because he couldn't imagine life without her. When they kissed as true husband and wife, Mara felt her mother and David's presence, warm, proud, watching over them. At the reception, her father's toast brought everyone to tears. He spoke of Mara's strength, her survival, the darkness she had escaped, and thanked Jihoon for loving and protecting her. Jihoon insisted that Mara had saved him just as deeply. Later, under the stars, Jihoon told her he had transitioned all his businesses into legitimate ones, security consulting, tech investments, nothing illegal. He wanted peace, a future worth building. Then he revealed more. He had bought a building to turn into a free clinic for trafficking victims, in honor of her mother. He wanted her to run it someday. Mara cried, overwhelmed with love and pride, and said yes to everything. A year later, Mara adjusted her white coat, still amazed to see her name. Dr. Mara Hoon. The Adana Memorial Clinic, named for her mother, was bright and beautiful, filled with art and hope. Jihoon appeared in the doorway just as she was about to begin her first day. She stopped him with a trembling smile. She was pregnant, 3 months along. Jihoon froze, then pulled her into his arms, tears filling his eyes. They talked about names, David if it was a boy, Adana if it was a girl. Both perfect, both full of meaning. That afternoon, Mara saw her first patient, a young Vietnamese woman, barely 20, trafficked and broken. Mara held her hand gently and promised she was safe now. The woman cried, and Mara cried with her, knowing exactly what that brokenness felt like. Later, she and Jihoon visited the cemetery again. Mara stood before her mother's and brother's graves and told them about the baby. She knew her mother would have been overjoyed. David would have been the best uncle. She promised they would always be remembered. As the sunset painted the sky, Mara felt them, her mother and David, standing together, smiling at her.
Whole, proud,
At peace. With Ji-hoon's arm around her waist and her hands on her growing belly, she walked away from the graves. Their story of pain and violence was finally over. Ahead of them was a future of peace, love, and second chances. Her mother had given her the tools to be free. David had given his life to protect her. Ji-hoon had given her a reason to believe again. And now she was giving life to a new generation, one that would know love, not fear. Peace, not violence. Choice, not obligation. The nightmare had ended, and their new life was just beginning. If this story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me which part you loved. Don't forget to like. Thank you for watching. Remember, family is choice, love, and sacrifice. Until next time, keep believing in second chances.